Sweet. What's up, guys? Happy Monday. Action got
What's up, guys?
just Corey here with us today. Garrett and Warner out of town, out of office today, but no problems. We're gonna figure out Brandon more as like a wholesale one here today, as well. But I said, Corey, I won't be home till later. Do you still want to do it, or should I stream by myself later? He said we've never missed a day.
And yeah, we haven't missed a Money Monday in like almost 2 years since we started it, right? Or at least there's always been at least one or two of us on every Monday.
Every time. Every single time. I believe one major holiday was a Monday, but we did it the next day, right? So
yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, cool. Sweet. So yeah, dude, Charles is a stud. Charles been killing it. Charles, how many FBM orders you ship out today? We got Nancy in here. What's up, Nancy? What's up, Joe? Are you going to ASD? So not this one, but I'll definitely be at the August one. I assume you will too, Corey?
Maybe not. Probably not. Honestly, we're trying to get away from ASD a little bit just because the quality of suppliers has kind of gone downhill. But it's such a great time for networking and just meeting other sellers. So it's not going to be a waste of time either way.
You should.
And there's always
there's
always going to be events going on. There's always going to be. I mean, there will be legit suppliers there. It's just kind of harder to dig through and find the ones that are authorized and that are legit. Charles, I was DMing with Charles, I think yesterday or the day before, and he was like, I'm working with Miles. It's going really well. I know he's jumping into wholesale too. So what's up, Charles?
Yeah, that's what's up. What's up, Wesley here? Yeah, Charles crushing right there.
We got Joe Mazan in here too. What's up, Joe?
Indeed, guys. Cool. So fire away on any questions you guys got. We're happy to help here as well. Another Monday here, and last couple of Mondays of Q1 here as well. So on the topic of gauging legit suppliers, whether it's at trade shows, whether it's online using the Google method, right? How do you actually vet those suppliers though? What are the green flags in terms of like their website, social media, Google My Business, domain age? Like how do I actually identify what is and what isn't a legit wholesale supplier?
Yeah, so really in 2025, the one thing that kind of defines a legitimate supplier in my mind is one that's buying directly from the brand. And how you prove that and how you find out if they're buying directly from the brand is simply to ask the supplier, say, hey, where are you sourcing these products? And if they tell you that they're buying from the brand, I like to take it a step further and I like to call the brand and ask the brand, hey, is supplier XYZ, are they authorized? Are they actually a customer of yours? Because a lot of times suppliers will say anything and everything just to get you to buy. And I actually had somebody recently who was buying from a supplier. The supplier claimed that they were authorized, but this person called the brand to verify, and the brand is like, we've never heard of these guys before in our lives. So luckily, he didn't buy from them, right, and was able to dodge a bullet there. Do you think the supplement niche is oversaturated? I wouldn't say. I mean, I don't really think any niche is oversaturated. It's more so, where do you want to focus your time and where are there more opportunities? I think supplements are difficult because a lot of the supplement brands sell on Amazon themselves. They sell, they have an Amazon seller account or they sell to Amazon first party. So if you're getting started, I wouldn't focus on supplements, but there's a lot of opportunity in supplements like there is in every category.
Yeah, and naturally, you like in general, you don't really target like a niche or target like a website, for example, when you're a newer seller. Just start out doing storefront stalking and let the market tell you what other people are making money on, right? If you watch the video I posted yesterday, how to find products to sell on Amazon so fast it feels illegal, that's going to show you guys how you get started and how you actually make items profitable at scale, right? Because it's like the biggest thing I see beginners make is they don't know what good products look like and they don't know how to find them. And you don't really find them. You find stuff that sells quick, very easy, storefront stalking, and then you use the different discounts to make the numbers work on it. Right there. So that's going to be the keys onto that. So all you guys watching should check out that video, just the latest one on my channel here.
And the beauty of that strategy too is like if you start with storefront stalking and you find a few products that work and maybe you find some niche websites that a lot of other people don't know about, then that kind of becomes your niche. Like whether it's that website or whether it's that coupon code or whether it's that specific brand, there's a lot of ways to kind of create your own niches and make your own kind of moats with certain products and certain websites once you start with the basics of storefront stalking. I agree with that.
Yeah. So Wesley says, what are your thoughts on AWD? So AWD, I believe, stands for Amazon Warehousing and Distributioning, which is like a 3PL prep center solution Amazon offers. I actually have no idea, man. What, you know the specifics of it?
Yeah, so AWD is really geared towards mainly private label sellers. It's geared towards sellers that are doing huge volumes of the same product or the same couple of products. Now, I heard of a lot of sellers that during Q4, they had a lot of inventory at AWD And AWD was taking 4 to 6 weeks to send products from AWD to FBA. So right now they're kind of working out the kinks, but Amazon is pushing a lot of bigger sellers to that route. And it really is ideal when you have a smaller number of SKUs, but you're doing huge volume. So for us resellers or us doing online arbitrage or wholesale, it doesn't make sense right now. It just doesn't.
I figured that was going to be the answer, but I wanted the expert opinion on it regardless here.
Yeah.
I got my first brand direct and I'm working on other brand/suppliers. What is the minimum ROI you recommend before pulling the trigger on a product? So it heavily depends on the return rate, in that if it's a grocery or a supplement item where they can't be returned, you can go a lot lower, especially if the Keep chart's nice and stable, right? You can go 20% ROI. You can go 25% ROI, right? If the Keep chart's nice and stable. However, if it's a clothing or an electronic item that historically has higher return rates, right, you would want to go significantly higher ROI. If that makes sense.
And another thing to consider too, right, especially if you're working directly with brands like this guy is the price of entry, right? So let's say, who is it that asked that question? Franklin. So Franklin, let's say you land that account, right? And maybe it took you a long time to land that account, and maybe it's one that a lot of other sellers can't get. You finally get it, you're excited about it, but then you see, well, hey, it's only 15% ROI or 17% ROI or 20% ROI. I would still buy those products, because what you're showing that brand is, hey, this is me kind of proving my worth to you guys, right? And over time, you can negotiate better pricing, you can negotiate better terms, and what maybe was 17% ROI on the first purchase order might turn into 25% ROI on the second, third, fifth purchase order as you build that relationship. So you got to consider like the long-term benefit of those suppliers as well.
Boom, makes sense. I'm so confused. If my shipping time and price is beating everyone, why am I not getting the buy box, and what more is there to do? So in almost every case, when this is the case, you will get the buy box, right? It could be that your FBM and everyone else is FBA, and that listing happens to favor FBA sellers. I have a feeling that probably is what it is in this case. Or weirdly enough, you might just not be buy box eligible on that item yet. Check that in your Amazon seller app. If you're a newer seller with less than 10 ASINs, you can check your featured offer eligibility, which is the same thing as buy box eligibility, in your inventory page on Seller Central, right? If you just go, or your Amazon seller app, not Seller Central, your Amazon seller app, click inventory, click the specific item, you'll see featured offer eligible, yes or no, right there. And you'll see that on there, whether or not that's the case. You might not be on that listing. I assume you're just FBM and everyone else is FBA though.
And it could be too, Willie, depending on how competitive the listing is. Even if you think you're the lowest price at that moment in time, if you're not using a repricer, other sellers are going to be beating you on price within seconds, right? So if it's a really fast moving listing and you're not using a repricer, then you're probably not going to get the buy box a lot, because other people who are using repricers, their pricing is changing every few seconds or every minute, and they're going to get a lot more buy box than you are.
That's a fact from Corey right there.
Sure. Kate said just checking in to make sure you guys made it on. Yep. Everybody, I love everybody's holding us accountable. Yeah, I love it.
Appreciate you.
Let's see. Diaz watched a movie or watched a video from Romer talking about FBM is getting more of the buy box. Is this just for books? So he mainly sells books. I know that's kind of his specialty, as he talks a lot about book selling. Now, it's hard to make a blanket statement like FBM is getting more of the buy box across the board. It's really listing specific. I've really only seen FBM get preferential treatment like to a high degree during Q4, when Amazon's fulfillment centers are really swamped and they're like, hey, we don't even have the capacity to ship out all these FBA orders, so we're going to give FBM more of the buy box. That's what I've seen happen in Q4 specifically.
Yep. Yeah, I actually do need to watch that video as well. Yeah. Shout out Romer right there. If you found an 80% net winning product, that's going to be like impossible with Amazon fees. You probably mean ROI, like net ROI, but 80% profit margin would be impossible because Amazon fees are almost always higher than that. And
but have to get creative against Amazon TOS to ship the product. So what would you, I'm curious, like what you mean by that, right? Because I've never had to, like if a product's profitable, I've never had to break TOS just to ship it into Amazon. So elaborate on that. What do you mean by like, what TOS are you breaking by that? And maybe we can help you through that.
Yeah, that's a fact. Making wholesale work with 3K. Boom. Sounds good. Which is why FBM is getting favored.
Oh, interesting.
Okay. Yeah, interesting. I don't know. I feel like Amazon is a pretty good argument for that because it's such a better customer experience, and they have an algorithm that show, like, theoretically, like Amazon's incentives and the customer's incentives are aligned because the customer gets a better experience when you sell FBA. Amazon gets more in fees. Now, you don't pay individual shipping, so technically you get a good deal too. It scales really nice and everything, but I don't know. It'll be interesting how that plays out.
Making wholesale work with 3K. That's awesome. Yeah. So Angelus Enterprises said making wholesale work with 3K, which is less than we normally recommend, right? I normally tell people, hey, if you're going to get into wholesale, you want at least 5 to 10K. And these days, probably closer to 10K, right? There's just a lot of, not necessarily a lot of things that can go wrong, but if you're newer, then you're going to make mistakes, right? And you want to have a nice cushion of cash to be able to absorb those mistakes and then buy better inventory next time around. So Key said FBM shipping, but again, what do you mean? What do you mean by FBM shipping? Like, what are you doing specifically when shipping FBM that's against TOS that that is causing you to, or that's like allowing you to sell that product? I hope you're not using fake labels or anything like that, because that will not only get your account suspended, but you will go to jail for that.
Yeah. Well, I wonder. People definitely have actually. Like, I don't know the specifics, obviously, on that. But yeah, no. Even if you're selling something FBM, dude, the Amazon fee is going to be 15% of it, right? And then shipping would have to be like the lightest item in the world and be super expensive too.
I need you to tell me I can travel the world and buy my dream car and house. I need the motivation. So Wesley, I mean, you absolutely can, right? I mean, my business has been fully remote for, I guess, since about 2021. So I don't see my products. I can travel. I can do, I can be just about anywhere and run the business because I've got a team and because I use a really good prep center. So yeah, it's entirely possible. Totally possible.
Yep. And you don't need the motivation, Wesley, right? You just haven't proven to yourself enough what you're capable of beyond what you currently think you are. And that's okay. You need to be putting the work in to do that, though. You don't need motivation from another man, right? You need to do the actions that you know you should do every day. And it would be unreasonable for you to do all those and not get close to your goals here. Okay, the feds are watching.
Feds are watching, yeah.
Start wholesale. What is the first step? Okay, so Corey, give us the answer for 2025, and then also tell us how you found your first wholesale account.
Yeah, so JC, the easy way would be to go to freewholesaleguide.com. And that is going to be a free 5-day email course that's going to walk you through step-by-step how to get that first account, what to say to suppliers, and how to source products from wholesale suppliers. So that's kind of the easy way, is follow that guide. But that guide in a nutshell is basically find brands that are already selling well on Amazon, call them, ask to open a wholesale account, follow up repeatedly until you get the account. And if they deny you, then pivot to asking them who their distributors are, then call their distributors and open an account with those distributors. So really the first step, like I said, is identifying a brand that you want to sell that appears to be reseller friendly. And like I said, that freewholesaleguide.com, that goes into a lot more depth on the specifics of what to look for. And not to mention, guys, let's see, Charles asked, I'm having a hard time finding these suppliers and distributors to contact. Any tips? So Charles and JC and everybody who's looking for how to find suppliers, guys, go on my YouTube channel. I have, I think, 10 or 11 videos where I use a tool called Smart Scout to find brands really easily. And it's as simple as, like I said, you call the brand and you either ask for a wholesale account from the brand, or you literally ask the brand who their distributors are. And they will tell you. 50% of the time, they will tell you. All right. So that's the easiest way to go about it. And I've got a bunch of videos in great detail of how to do that on my channel.
Yeah. So it's not that Amazon doesn't like using third-party shipping services, to my knowledge. It's more so just that you're protected if you use Amazon shipping services, which is more efficient, in my opinion. And it's the same cost in many cases too, as well. Yeah. So
Eod said, how is it possible to decrease the check-in time for products and making them Prime available? Does Boxum help, or is there any other way I could decrease that duration?
FBM. Yeah.
Did you say FBM?
Well, no. In general, that would be the way you can guarantee it, as long as it's FBM friendly listings. But yeah, there's not much you can do about it. We have seen 2D barcodes do that for some folks. But interestingly enough, there's also conflicting info where in one place, Amazon says, yeah, if you're doing a lot of volume, you should use TD barcodes. And in another place, they go, yeah, TD barcodes could lead to decreased check-in times, which makes no sense and everything. But try it out for yourself. Try out TD barcodes on your own, Aid.
Well, in my perspective too, so Boxum will help you get stuff in faster in the sense that it'll help you prep faster, right? So if you're not using a listing tool like a Boxum, prepping is simply going to take you longer. So it'll help you get things checked in that regard. The second way to get products checked in faster is to ship full truckloads at a time, right? Now, you might not be at that level yet. Most people aren't. But guys, when you ship full truckloads at a time into Amazon, which is called FTL, it stands for full truckload, our full truckload shipments, and Joe Mazan is in the chat here. He ships full truckloads on behalf of us and our community all the time. He'll tell you, and I'll tell you from our experience, full truckloads check into FBA sometimes, guys, within 48 hours, right? You get, when you ship full truckloads, you get something that is called live unload, all right? And now live unload means as soon as your truck gets to the FBA fulfillment center, literally the Amazon employee is pulling your pallets off the truck and scanning them into your inventory as they're pulling them off the truck. So you're not having to wait for your truck to get there. And then a lot of times the truck will sit there for a week or two if you're shipping LTL, right? Less than truckload. So shipping full truckloads at a time, we've seen 48-hour check-ins or 72-hour check-ins a lot of times. But you've got to be shipping enough volume for it to make sense.
Yeah. I've been learning about Amazon FBA since last August, which is why I feel pretty comfortable starting with 3K, plus another resource, start with 5K. Yeah, dude, start with 1 to 2K, Angela. Start with 1 to 2K. Right there. Watch my whole free course. It's like 8 hours long. That'll show you the entire process. Literally, you can walk out of that thing. You go through it 4 hours today, 4 hours tomorrow, whatever, and you'll very quickly be caught up to speed on the best way to do all this stuff here. Is it hard to find wholesale suppliers for Amazon? No. Will it be hard when you're new like anything else? Yeah. And that's okay. That's okay. Right? You got to put in the work, right? Spend a lot of time, put in a lot more effort than you think you would, right? And naturally, by default, you got a lot closer to your goals the more action you're taking. Right there.
But Shadow, like I was saying earlier, I mean, I've got probably 10 or 11 videos on my YouTube of how to find suppliers pretty easily. And if you follow it step by step, you'll get very similar results. So go on YouTube and just search Corey Ganim finding suppliers, and you'll find a few videos walking you through the process.
Yeah, most. You didn't hit up every single one, Charles. You didn't hit up every single one, right? Put in
Well, Charles, that's the thing too, right? So if you use the filters that I kind of go through in my videos, no matter which category you're looking at, you're going to get probably around 300 to 500 brands that fit that criteria. So Charles, there's no way you contacted all 400 brands in the automotive category that fit those criteria and have been following up with them consistently for weeks, months, and years, which is a lot of times what it takes to land the very best accounts. So Charles, my advice would be keep doing it, but do it for a longer period of time and make sure you follow up, right? You're never going to get really good accounts on the first attempt unless you get really lucky and it's just perfect timing.
Yeah. So why is following up important too? Like talk through that. Cause that's like one of the big things just in general, like in general in business, people don't do a lot of is like sticking with it and checking on people and everything, especially in the capacity of like, wholesale, which would be, essentially sales job,
Yeah. I mean, guys, the follow-up is everything because the best brands and the best distributors, they're getting pitched by 100 Amazon sellers per week. And I'm not exaggerating. I have talked to brands who literally have told me, Corey, we get 50 calls like this a week. We get 100 calls like this a week. So the only way you can differentiate yourself and the only way you stand out from the pack and even have a chance of landing that account is if you follow up week after week after week, month after month after month. Guys, I've told this story a million times of my very best brand direct account took me 3.5 years to land, right? But now that one account, one product from that one brand makes us on some days $1,000 per day in profit. All right. So 3.5 years of effort to then now have that revenue stream that is, somewhat exclusive because nobody else took the time to follow up with them for 3.5 years.
Yep. Angela says, Miles got me started in this business. And Corey, thank you again for all the knowledge you provided, inspirational stuff from to you. We got you. Get to it. Get to it. Is 3K a month profit realistic goal? Yes. Get to it. You should shoot for a lot higher than that, but you might just only want that much and want to do it on the side and everything. So yeah, get on it, Shadow. Get on. You got that stuff.
There was a video where I was talking about a Smart Scout where you find products that Amazon has lesser fees on. Do you recommend going down that route? Is that worth the benefit? So you might be talking about small and light products, which is no longer a program that Amazon offers. That must have been an old video that you would have seen that in, but elaborate on that if you will. Make sure I'm thinking about what you're thinking about here.
Yep. Sounds good. So yeah, let us know what questions you guys got. Nice little Monday night action. Hope you're getting to it. And
And another tip I want to give too, right? So a lot of guys on the stream I know are doing online arbitrage, and some of them might have ambitions to add wholesale. So first and foremost, guys, if you have a successful arbitrage business, there's no reason you should stop doing arbitrage and then just jump full force into wholesale. That wouldn't make any sense. If you're making money with arbitrage, keep doing arbitrage, but then add a wholesale component to your business. And guys, the easiest way to add a wholesale component to your business is to literally call the brands that you're selling in your arbitrage business and try to open a wholesale account with them, right? And you can even tell them, I like being upfront. I say, listen, I've been selling your products for a month or 3 months or 6 months or however long you've been selling them. And we'd like to buy directly from you guys in bulk because we've had good success selling your products so far. What would we need to do to open a wholesale account directly with you guys? That could be a really good way to approach some of these brands. And when you're specific about the exact products that you want, if you say, hey, we've been selling your Carmex, 2-ounce product for 6 months. It's great. It's selling well for us. We'd like to buy in bulk. What would a purchase order for 2,000 units look like? When you can be really specific like that about very specific products, they're going to be way more receptive to you and what you want to do.
Yep. Yeah. For example, with a coaching student this morning, I found a couple good ASINs that were like all the people on the listing were $9.99 because you get a discount on fees below $9. What does that scale up to? Is $9.99 to
I think
11 plus or what?
I think it's category specific. So in grocery and beauty, I think if the sale price is under $9.99, then you get like a certain fee discount. So there's certain products where if you're looking at SellerAmp and you put your sale price at $9.99, it'll give you your net profit, right? And then if you change your sale price to say $11, right, which is $1 more, your profit actually goes down because you're no longer getting that fee decrease. So the key is to mess with it and kind of plug in different prices. But I think it's in mainly grocery and beauty, where if you're selling a product under $9.99, you get a small discount on the referral fee. But don't quote me on that. I'd go and do your own research there.
Yeah, but sure it's listed somewhere. Yes.
Yeah. And Iyad said the fees that Amazon takes from the sale is a smaller percentage, which increases my margin. So you might be thinking about when I talk about selling higher priced products, right? So a lot of the products that I sell might sell for 100, 150, 300. We sell some products with a sale price of $400 per unit. Now, the reason I like selling those products, the more expensive products, is because the fees as a percentage of your revenue is a lot smaller, right? So if you're selling low ticket products like these grocery products for say $10 or $12 or $15, then your Amazon fees as a percentage of your revenue is going to be higher, right? Your fees might be 32% or 33% of your revenue. But when you sell more expensive products like I do, a lot of times my Amazon fees are only 28% of my revenue or 27% of my revenue, right? So it just comes down to the price of the product themselves, not necessarily it's not like a category or anything like that I'm talking about there.
Yep. What's the SellerAmp coupon code? Yes, there's actually no coupon code for SellerAmp, but there is a 2-week free trial, so you should try it out completely free just on selleramp.com. Right there. It says, run a sustainable business as a beginner. Is there a number of ASINs you recommend to laser in on, or diversification necessary? Yeah, diversification as much as possible, and then let the market tell you what to buy heavy on and allocate capital accordingly, because you don't know how good an item is or not good an item is until you've actually sold it and gone through the process on a test order. But then once you have, the market's giving you some feedback. And we have a really good analytics feature coming very soon in Boxum. It's actually in beta right now. So if any of you guys want that Boxum analytics beta, just shoot me a DM on Discord and I'd be happy to hook you up with it. That'll show you your sold per day on different ASINs. It's very helpful for restocking. So I'll put the Discord link in the chat if anyone wants to tap in on that. Just if you're a Boxum user or a new Boxum user, whatever, and you want to access that, just shoot me a Discord DM and I would love to hook it up with that.
That's going to be a huge update too, because that's how I base a lot of my restock. Basically, my restocking is I see how many am I selling per day, right? And typically I take that number, multiply it by about 45 to 60. If it's a product that I've been selling for a while, I'm comfortable buying 60 days worth of inventory at a time, right? So you can literally take that number that Boxum gives you, multiply it by 60 if you're doing wholesale and if you're comfortable with that product, and that's how many units you buy, right, next time around. So that can really save a lot of time when you're doing your restocking.
Yep, 100%. So yeah, appreciate you guys tuning in. We're gonna jump off right now because I do have a 7 o'clock coaching call that I'm gonna get on right there. Helpful links are in the description. If you guys want any more formal help, definitely check out my free course if you haven't yet already. It's 8 hours long. You just search Flips4Miles 8 Hour on YouTube. You'll see it. It's also linked in the description right there. Check out Corey on all socials. Check out Corey's podcast too. It's on YouTube. It's on all the podcast platforms. We did a fire episode that we dropped last week. And see you guys next Monday. Y'all have a great day. Of course,
Yep.
Of course.
See you guys next week.
Be great. See y'all soon.